Then a hip hop mixtape review, Lil Bibby, Free Crack 2. Before we get into it, make sure that you guys keep at mentioning your favorite artists for our live mixtape event. The Joint is going to be here in Atlanta, October 8th through the 12th. It's going to be a live mixtape event. We're going to have crazy producers. Make sure that you hit up your favorite artists so that they know about The Joint. We can blow it up and make it one of the best mixtapes. And we also are going to be in the A3C doing a panel, and Mike got details for that.
On Saturday, October 11th at 2 o'clock at the Crown Plaza Hotel, we're going to be doing a panel called Inside the Mind of a Music Critic, where we'll be talking about our review process. I think it'll be something good for artists to come check out, for labels to come check out, for A&Rs to come check out, and for the general audience to come hear what our process is, how we really nail down whether or not we like an album, what process we use for nailing down how we feel about a project. So come through, holla.
Sophie will be hosting.
Sophie will be hosting. What else, Rod? Rod will be filming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll be talking, chilling, drinking. You know how we do.
So obviously Lil Bibby's relatively brand new. He only has 2 projects, Free Crack and Free Crack 2. So my first introduction was on Free Crack, and when I heard it, I liked certain aspects of Bibby. I always thought his flow was nice, and I think he has a very dope voice for hip hop. But I felt like initially when he first came out, his rhymes were just a little too simplistic, and I was just like, I felt like on the first mixtape he missed on a lot of tracks for me, but there were some dope ones. Lil Bibby is a trap type rapper, but him being from Chicago is considered drill music. That's their wave, that's their movement up there. On the first tape, there was a track called Water. That one was dope. And like I said, he had about 5 or 6 of them that were dope on the first one. So I was really interested to hear what he was gonna do on Free Crack 2, because I felt like he had a lot of potential. I just felt like he was very new and kind of raw, and he just didn't have it all figured out. And I still don't think he has it all figured out, but I think that he did get a lot better on this tape, mainly because there weren't as many that I would skip through. Like the first 11 joints was dope to me. You look at Bibby's face and you hear his voice, and that's not what you put together. Kind of like I-20 with DTP. You hear this big booming voice, and you look at dude, you're like, yo, like, that's you? Overall, man, like his subject matter, he's talking about the streets, he's talking about drugs, he's talking about Chicago. He talks a little bit about the come up, and how people are asking about money and this, that, and the third. So he addresses a lot of stuff in this, and like I said, I like it. Like, this is bumping the whip music because the beats are banging. He has pretty good verses. It's not like he's an ultimate lyricist and he's just throwing all of this. Nah, man, he sounds good on a beat. His flows are tight, and his voice is perfect for this type of music. And that I like that. Like, you don't always have to be complex or over lyrical or anything like that, man. Just throw this on, let it bump in the whip, and you'll be good.
This one, I do like this one better, way better than the first one. You know what, I think Lil Bibby for me is really, really interesting because, if you take the second song, Can I Have Your Attention, and it's really like his voice, makes you really pay attention to him as an artist, and that's what kind of pulls you in. Just like you said, you look at him, you look at him, and then you hear his voice. They don't match up. So, it sounds like for a guy like Lil Bibby, who just decided to do something else off the streets because he was tired of being in the streets and decided to do rapping, it almost seems like he was made to rap because he has the voice for rapping. At least, so he sounds good. Like, Bibby sounds good with his voice on a beat. So I think him as an artist is really interesting because this is just a guy that just randomly went off the street, recorded some tape, and people liked it. And he just built buzz overnight, and it's just this crazy story that's out there in hip hop. I remember watching him on Sway, because just hearing about the buzz and everything, I was like, who is this Lil Bibby guy that people love so much? So I listened to the interview that he had on Sway, and he's a really interesting guy. He's not complex. He's not gonna really just give you all these complex flows or lyrics or anything like that. That's not his style. That's not what he does. But he's just gonna get in there. He's gonna tell you about his life on the street, you know, pretty much on the first tape, and on this one, it's a little bit of that, and then it's also about the come up. You know, it's about people, you know, about, you know, rappers. These rappers are fake, and this, that, and the other. It's about his experiences now in hip hop from when he dropped that tape, I think in November. So I like the beat selections on here. I think there was some good variety that he picked. You know, I like the track with Lil Herb. I like the second track. I definitely like the first track. I love the track with T.I. Boy on there. That's probably my favorite track on there.
The one with Kevin Gates was hard too.
Yeah, that was cool. I like what they did with the last verse on there. You know, I was actually surprised that I actually ended up liking this as much as I did, because I, you know, not saying that I went into it expecting to hate it, but, you know, after listening to the first project, my expectations were not high at all.
You didn't know if he was going to be able to progress from Free Crack to Free Crack 2.
Yeah. There's definitely been some progression. There's definitely been some improvement. I still believe that he's still raw as a rapper, and he's still learning on the job. But I think for him, it's working. Because look at the people that's on this thing. Wiz Khalifa, Juicy J, T.I. jumped on there, and Kevin Gates. Like, he has some, Jadakiss and Anthony Hamilton. Like, he has some people that's backing him. So, you know, I don't know if it's politics or if they really mess with him.
Drama?
Huh?
Drama hooked that up. You know, that's what kind of, and you know, Drama, he kind of said it. He said, you know, y'all don't ever really give me props. Y'all just want to give props to your stepdaddy. I birthed a lot of you dudes. You know what I'm saying? So Drama, he's put a lot of people on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't know who Jeezy was without Drama. So he's put a lot of people on. You know,
So Drama, you know, had a lot to do with that. But I think a lot of people just in the industry, period, they like this guy. You know, they like him. I'm sure as a person. And, you know, and I think that helped. So, you know, I mean, you know what? I think at the end of the day, here's a guy that was doing a lot of stuff in Chicago on the streets, man. And here's a guy that's not doing that stuff as much. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he's taking off the streets and he's finding a way to make a career out of, you know, for himself outside of hustling or doing whatever he was doing. And, you know, I think you got to respect that. So that's the thing I like that I can respect. And, you know, I'm curious to see where he goes and how he continues to grow as an artist and definitely as a rapper. But overall, I think you know, as an artist, I think he'll be fine. And I think if he just continues to stay on course and stay on path, I think he'll be good to go, man. But yeah, man, I was surprised, man. I really was. I
mean, this is just a straightforward street rapper dude that pretty much knew what he wanted to say. He said it the way he wanted to say it, and I think, like to Ken's point, I think the thing that drew me to him was, his voice. I think he has that perfect grimy, like, street voice, street rapper voice. And I mean, I thought for the most part this mixtape was okay. I mean, I know I wasn't expecting like a super, you know, complex rapper. I wanted, you know, just from the type of rapper that he was from the first song. I said, okay, this is what I'm gonna get from this. I like that he kind of went on what's that, Dead or in the Prison. How he kind of spoke about his, you know, he's getting out of the street game and doing something more positive with his life. You know, he could have been dead or prison if he was still staying on a route that he was going in the street life. So I like that he touched on that aspect of his life. Other than that though, man, like a lot of these tracks, boy, that's like a club. I can hear that in the club. It's like club hits. I hear the beats. I'm like, okay, I can just hear this in the club. Me enjoy this in the club. But I like really sit down and just like really listen to this. No, but I mean, I just appreciate him being like that straightforward type of dude. I can see a lot of street dudes like really liking his album. Like this can be like I want to compare it to that, but like the new version of like a Master P, like, you know, body, just like some street stuff. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, ain't nothing else I can really pick from this except that this is just a street dude. I like the Kevin Gates though, the We Are Strong. I like that sample, how they flipped that sample, and I thought Kevin Gates and him going back and forth switching bars, I thought that was pretty. I wasn't expecting that from that song. I said, okay, damn, Kevin Gates is really flowing on here.
And what about Lil Herb? Because you talking about them two going back and forth. Like, I thought Bibby and Herb going back and forth was pretty dope too. And I think like Herb, you know, he's technically, you know, he's more proficient as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So I think he kind of killed Bibby on that. You know, just my personal thing. But I enjoyed both of them.
Yeah, that track. What was it? That track was cool. Yeah, I mean, it was some tracks that was like, okay, yeah, this bumps or whatever, and you know, bumping the whip. This bumps, and I can just. most of this is like a lot of club tracks, are really like this club banging beats. Really, I mean, I can hear. Or if you got some 15s in your trunk,
Damn, 15s?
yeah.
You don't need 15s for this though. You get some 10s and it's gonna be
12s
crazy.
or 15s, you know, you pop that in the trunk and you can ride. I can picture myself riding down Belle Isle bumping it, just for the bass. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just for the bass. I mean, that's really all I gotta say about this. I mean, you know, I don't really hate it, but I don't like love it like that. It's just like, okay, whatever. I mean, I don't really have a care to like go back and listen to this again.
I really don't have anything poignant to say about this. I don't like this. I don't like this. But here's the thing with this. I'll say it honestly. I am not the demographic for this album. I don't know why y'all scared to say that shit. If y'all want to say I'm too old, that's perfectly fine. This is not music made for me. At all.
No,
like,
I don't think it
this
has to do
is
with age.
Yes, it does.
Really? No,
Yes, it does.
I think,
Come on, man.
I can see some.
This is a young man's album. Y'all are tripping.
I'm thinking back.
You just don't want to. You are afraid to admit
I'm
that
not.
you are old.
No,
You're
seriously.
getting to be like me and Ken.
No, I'm serious.
More like me
I
than
can
Ken.
picture some older dudes, man.
That's trying to relive their youth.
Or whatever. They would like this shit, man. I'm telling you.
This is a young man's album, B.
I think it's more of a hood man's album than a young man's album.
The hood man's album.
Even the older dude. I think people that like trap music, T.I. will like this. I can see that.
I can see some. No.
No?
Jeezy, maybe?
Jeezy too.
See, if I could go through my part out.
My bad. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is that he sounds like, and reminds me of a young Jeezy. So these younger dudes that might think Jeezy is too old or out the game, they would like this. This is not no grown man in the hood album. I don't see it. I could be wrong. I'm not a grown man in the hood. I don't think this is a bad project. That's the thing. I can't say this is whack. He's not a bad rapper at all. I think he definitely sounds great over these type of beats. The thing is, these beats don't interest me, and this type of rapper doesn't interest me, so I can't really listen to this. A couple songs I really did like. I definitely liked Game Over with Lil, is it Herb or Herb?
That's what I was gonna ask too. Is it Herb or Herb?
Is it definitely Herb?
Is it? I think it's Herb. Why wouldn't it be? Why would it be Herb?
Yeah.
Because that's typically how you spell Herb.
No, you spell Herb like H. Yeah, that's how you spell Herb.
I know, but I'm just saying. I mean, if a person's name was
but as a rapper though, why would you think it's Herb?
I don't know.
Herb.
That's what I'm asking. I don't know.
I think it's Herb. I think it's Herb. I'm about to mess up myself.
See, you don't even know.
It's Herb, like the joint.
Okay. Yeah. So Game Over featuring Lil Herb. I thought that their trade-off was really cool. The way they traded off bars. And I agree with Ralph. I definitely think that Lil Herb is a bit more proficient as a rapper than Lil Bibby. Only thing I can say about this is I think that it's cool that these young kids found something and they created something. I think it's neat that they looked at hip hop and they created their own sound. Cause this guy's young too, right? Like he's 20 years old. Yeah. I think it's cool that they've created their own little niche in hip hop, their own little sound in hip hop. I think that that's really dope. It's just that sound doesn't resonate to me. You know, I would rather listen to Jeezy than something like this, just because it just doesn't interest me that much. Like I put this on and I just hear a really young hood album. That's all that I hear, and it just doesn't interest me.
And Jeezy is a more experienced, interesting rapper. At the end of the day, I mean, his stories are more interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't really hear any stories here. I just heard dudes
references to his life.
Yeah, and it just doesn't. I don't know. It just didn't really interest me. And plus, just like I said with Jeezy on that last review, when I hear Jeezy rhyme, and he's rhyming over softer beats, it doesn't interest me as much. If this dude was rhyming over these hard beats, like, well, I guess like Game Over, I would get a little more interested in what he was saying, because I would like to hear this kind of shit just really loud. But it seems like these beats were a little bit pulled back, and I haven't listened to his other project. This is the first Lil Bibby I've heard, and I don't know, man. It was almost like putting a Christmas sweater on a bulldog, man. It didn't seem like, it seemed like this was a little bit too soft for someone like Bibby. I would rather hear Bibby over some really loud, boisterous beats, like some Rick Ross type beats. I feel like I would be a little bit more interested, or I would feel like he sounded a little bit more normal over those type of beats. But look, if this sound is working for him, and as y'all say, the dudes in the hood love this shit, then don't listen to me. I don't know shit. Rod already said I was a hipster.
So yeah, I don't know if it's working.
Don't say that shit. Don't say I called you.
You did. Rod called me a hipster.
Because I haven't really necessarily seen the response on what the people are saying about it. But you're right, it is different from the first one. The first one was a little bit more louder, but I think on this one, you know, I think he's really just working on, I guess, just diversifying himself as an artist. So he's trying to do, you know, go over some different beats and do things a little bit differently. And I guess still trying to figure out who he is, you know, as a rapper, what he's gonna do in hip hop, because he's new, he's fresh.
Literally two projects.
And he just went in and just started rapping, just writing and rapping, you know. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
I didn't mention this in the review, but I also like the interludes and how he pulled in Paid in Full, because that was one of my favorite movies. And again, you know, the voice, the flows, the references to his life, I think is dope. And definitely a bumps in the whip. So go support, man. It's a free mixtape, so free crack. Go download it. Two. Free crack 2. Both of them.
Yeah. Both are on the site, so you can go get it there. The links will be in the comment description.
There you go, Ken. Ken.
But yeah,
DEHH.com.
There you go, boy.
That's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, man, like I said before, I think, you know, my interest is in Lil Bibby and seeing where he goes as an artist, and seeing how he takes his career coming into hip hop. I love the fact that this is a guy that was on the streets of Chicago. We all know what's going on there. And, you know, he found a way to get out, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, this is not, you know, a brand new story in hip hop, but the fact that there's a lot going on, I think, and that we have a kid that managed to get out of an area that, you know, we hear is pretty rough, you know, is good, man. And then he's also not, you know, being a negative bane on society as well. So, you know, I'm not blown away by the tape or anything like that, but I do, you know, like what I heard and like it more than Free Crack, the first project. So I've seen him improve. So I'm curious to see what happens next.
You know, nothing complex about this dude. Straightforward street rapper, bumping beats. If I have some bump, this will be played. Other than that, I really don't have no desire to like listen to this again. But you know, he's not he's not awful. I don't think this is whack. I don't love it, but it's just like, it's okay. It's just another street dude, young dude, up and coming rapper, making the scene. Glad he's doing something besides, you know, the street life. I hope he leave that alone and continue to focus on his music. Unlike Ken, I don't know if I'm gonna be like waiting and seeing what, you know, he's gonna be doing next, or the story about him or whatever. But you know, that's here or there.
This is not whack. I can definitely understand the appeal. I can understand why people like this. I get it. It's just, it's not for me. It's not my demographic. I'm too old, I'm too lame to be jamming Lil Bibby. I don't have big speakers in my trunk. I can't even say that any of the songs were really bad except for I Be On It. I didn't really dig that song at all. 14 to 15, that was my shit. I know it was the end of the tape, but I love We Are Strong with Kevin Gates. I thought that trade-off was super dope. And Tomorrow, I really dug that. I mean, I love Annie. I like the way that they did that that beat. Like, I don't know who C-Note is, but I like him. He did a real good job with that beat. And I think he sounded good, even though that was a lighter beat. I was saying earlier, I don't want him on lighter beats, but that was a lighter beat and he sounded good over that beat. But, you know, if you like trap music, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the fellas are right. Maybe this is for trap dudes in general, young and old. I didn't sell crack. You know what I'm saying? I sold crybaby candies.
I did that too.
Word, for real?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. When a rapper comes out talking about some free crybaby candies, hey, it's on the pop, man. That sour face out. Anyways, all right, that's it. If you like trap music, hey, go check it out. Like they all said, it's free. Download this shit, get on it.